Have you ever wondered what potential starter Pokemon could be if it wasn't limited to fire, water, and grass typing? No? Well, honestly, me neither until I saw this video by M&J TV. If you haven't watched it, please do. It is fantastic and very well made. And in the video, he goes on to limit the starter options based on evolution lines, methods, and base stats more or less. He goes pretty in depth about it, but for this video, I will be choosing a starter Pokemon of each type that I think would be a good fit and are most likely just lines that I enjoy. I'll also be choosing a new line for the aforementioned fire, water, and grass types because I don't want them to feel left out. And let me put this disclaimer out there first. I will only be choosing Pokemon with 2 evolutions and none of them will be split evolutions. I think that could be an interesting set of starters for one day, but for now, I'm not including them. The other thing I'd like to clarify is that if a first stage Pokemon changes one of its typing or gains a different one, I won't include it in my list of possibilities. For example, even though Fletchling is a normal flying type, since its final form, Talonflame, is fire flying, the only consistency is flying, so the Fletchling line would only be considered an option for a flying type starter. With that out of the way, let's start with the big 3, fire, water, and grass. For fire type, I found that there are actually only 2 3-stage lines besides the current starters that retain the fire type the whole way through, and these would be Magby and Litwick. And this is super tough because I love both of these lines, but for a very long time I considered Magmortar one of my favorite Pokemon, and the fact that it's pure fire will probably give Magby the edge for this new fire starter. Moving on to grass, where we have plenty of options: Oddish, Bellsprout, Hoppip, Lotad, Seedot, Budew, Sewaddle, Bounsweet, Applin, and Smoliv. And can we take a second to admire that they are all just little round guys? Like, I just want to bounce them off a wall and back. You know, the fun stuff. Anyways, let's start off with eliminating Oddish and Applin with the whole split evolution clause I mentioned earlier. And to me, there's about 2 frontrunners left, and that would be Seedot and Bounsweet. And this is pretty tough to me because I think it's pretty close. I'm leaning Seedot because I think Shiftry is really cool, but I love the fact that Serena has a signature move in Trop Kick and is also a pure grass type. And for that reason, I'm going to give Bounsweet the edge here. And before I go any further, I'm not saying that every starter will have to have a single pure typing to be chosen. I just think that if I need a tiebreaker, that could be a part of what tips the scales one way or the other. But if I just prefer a line over another naturally, then I probably won't take it into account. With that being said, let's move on to the water type. Our options include Poliwag, Horsea, Lotad, Spheal, and Tympole. Poliwag will be eliminated right off the bat due to the whole split evolution thing, and this one is pretty cut and dry for me. It's Horsea. It's a cute little seahorse that evolves into a badass sea dragon, and it helps that my first exposure to it came from Claire. Sue me, I don't care. Next we have Electric, and before you say anything, I'm not going to count the Pikachu line because he was technically a starter in the Let's Go games and Pokemon Yellow, which leaves us with Magnemite, Elekid, Mareep, Shinx, Tynamo, and Pawmi. And in case you didn't see my logo, I'm a big fan of Electivire, so this one's easy, it's going to be Elekid. And I just want to give a quick shout out to the Red Fox art who's on my logo. I love it, it's incredible. Go follow them. Now let's move to Psychic, where we have Abra, Mime Jr., Ralts, Beldum, Gothita, Solosis, Cosmog, and Hatenna. Let's nix Ralts and Cosmog for the split evolutions and narrow this down real quick to Gothita and Hatenna. I love Abra though, but he's too useless for the early game with just Teleport. And I think I'm going to end up giving this to Hatenna because I really like the evolutions and they're really funny Pokédex entries. Take a look if you've not seen them. Next, we have the Dark type, which includes Galarian Zigzagoon, Sandile, Pawniard, Dino, and Impidimp. To me, this is between a few, but we're going Sandile because the others may or may not be mentioned later. And I mean, look at Sandile. He's just such a cool little guy. Let's go to the Fighting type now, which surprisingly only has 3 options: Mankey, Machop, and Timber. And this is such an easy low sweep by Mankey. I mean, have you seen Annihilate? Dude is sick as hell, with a signature move in Rage Fist. He's just an inky monkey, and I love it. Moving on, we have the Steel type, which includes Magnemite, Aeron, Beldum, Klink, Pawniard, Honedge, and Tinkatink. I think this one's pretty close between Pawniard and Tinkatink, but Pawniard takes this one because Bishop has been one of my favorite Pokemon for a long time, and then King Gambit came along and made me fall in love with the line even more. Plus, Kowtow Cleave is one of my favorite moves ever. Check and mate. Man, we are really flying through this list, huh? Oh hey, speaking of flying, we have the Flying type, which has Pidgey, Zubat, Hoppip, Starly, Pidove, Fletchling, Pikipek, and Rookidee. And as much as I think Toucannon is so dope and also has his signature move in Beak Blast, I'm going to go with Rookidee simply because of Corviknight. That is explanation enough. Also, Rookidee is only one of 3 pure flying types in the game, and I think that's pretty interesting. Let's go Ghost next.
He's a phantom.
Our little spooky guys are Ghastly, Duskull, Litwick, Honedge, and Dreepy. I didn't choose Litwick earlier, so I'm choosing him here, even though I actually really like all these options, but come on. Look at this little guy, he's so cute. Continuing on, we have the Fairy type, where our options include Cleffa, Igglybuff, Togepi, Azurill, Ralts, Flabebe, Impidimp, and Tinkatink. We're getting rid of Ralts once again, but it doesn't really matter because Tinkatink takes this in a landslide because I love it and it has a dope signature move in Gigaton Hammer. I mean, imagine a region where the starters are Rookidee and Tinkatink. It's a rivalry we all want to see now. Come on. Or maybe like a mini game in Pokemon Snap or something. I don't know. I just think it would be fun. Let's go now to the Poison type with Weedle, the Nidorans, Zubat, Oddish, Bellsprout, Ghastly, Budew, and Venipede. And I'm going to go with something possibly controversial here, but I'm going to say Nidoran. Not one or the other, just Nidoran. I think it would be fun loading up the game, and the gender of the starter makes more of a difference than it currently does. And this would be even more interesting if all 3 options had varying forms based on gender or something similar. Let's just hope this poison duo doesn't become a toxic relationship. Ba-dum-ts. Or maybe it's more like Bug-dumts. Get it? Because bug type is next? Anyways, we have Caterpie, Weedle, Wurmple, Swaddle, Venipede, Scatterbug, Grubbin, and Blipbug. Wurmple is ruled out immediately because of the whole Split Evo thing, and this one is pretty easy for me with Grubbin taking the win here. And I don't particularly like any of these first stage Pokemon, but Chargebug is absolutely adorable, and Vikavolt is by far one of the coolest bug Pokemon ever made. I just wish he was faster. Like, why is he so slow? It looks like he should be so fast, and it's an electric type. What the f? Next, we have Rock, with Geodude, Rhyhorn, Larvitar, Aeron, Roggenrola, Roly-Poly, and Nacli. And rather than a landslide here, I think it's a rock slide. With Larvitar coming out on top, he's cute, and T-Tar is dope as hell. Pupitar is the only reason I partially question my choice here, but it's fine. Nacli's only a little salty about being number 2. Damn, I'm really running all these bad jokes into the ground, huh? Speaking of ground, we have Geodude, Rhyhorn, Swinub, Trapinch, Gible, and Sandile. I already chose Sandile, and as much as I love Garchomp, I'm gonna go with my boy Trapinch here because Flygon needs a little bit more love and attention, and he's awesome. Speaking of Pokemon taking a backseat to Garchomp, let's look at the Dragon types, and not choose Gible once again, and exclude Applin just like before. This leaves us with Dratini, Bagon, Axew, Dino, Gumi, Jangmo, Dreepy, and Frigibax. This one was pretty tough to me because I think the Axew line is so cool and very well designed, but Dreepy's going to take this for me because since the moment I saw Dragapult, I knew he was sick, and he was a top tier for me. And my girlfriend got me a little Dreepy plush when we were in Japan, so there's that too. Alright, almost done. Second to last type, Ice, which only has 4 options, Swinub, Spheal, Vanillite, and Frigibax. And we may as well keep the Dragon types going because this is easily Frigibax for me. Not only have I been using them and Baxcalibur in competitive TCG, but I also think Arctibax is so cool. He's actually one of my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon. Plus, its biggest competition is an Ice Cream Cone, so not too difficult here. Okay, we made it. Last one. Normal type. This has the most options out of any types, yet it was probably one of the easiest decisions I had to make. Our options are Pidgey, Igglybuff, Happiny, Porygon, Teddiursa, Galarian Zigzagoon, Slackoth, Whismur, Starly, Lillipup, Pidove, Pikipek, and Smoliv. And as much as I want to give this to Porygon and give him justice for getting banned in the anime, I'm going to go with Galarian Zigzagoon. He's so cute, the shinies are so good, and Obstagoon has quickly become one of my favorite Pokemon. So he will be my abnormal pick. Oh, come on. You had to know one last bad joke was coming. Anyways, here are all of my starters. Tell me who you would like as a starter, and what 3 types would be a cool combination for a region. And if you're still here, please consider subscribing. It would mean the world to me. Until next time, have a great one.